Good morning, students. In our last video, we had reached up to page number 105. Page 105. We had reached the part where Lewis Long and Jesse Owen were in conversation. Lewis Long was comforting and explaining to Jesse Owens his mistake, and in a very friendly way, he described to Jesse Owens how he could rectify his mistake. From today, we go to the next page, that is page 106, and we'll continue from there. Suddenly, all the tension seemed to ebb out of my body as the truth of what he said hit me. Now, Jesse Owens is saying this, that when Lewis Long explained to him his shortcomings, the mistake he was committing, as he realized his mistake as a true sportsman, Jesse Owens now, he realized that yes, it was the anger that was getting the better of him, and he calmed himself down. Once his body was calm, he could feel the tension coming out from his body. Ebb out of my body is come out of my body. He was more relaxed after the advice given by Lewis Long. So my body, as the truth came of what he said, and he realized that Lewis Long is speaking to him and he's telling him the truth, that he should not lose his temper. He should go ahead with a calm mind. Confidently, I drew a line a full foot in back of the board, and as Lewis Long had explained to Jesse Owens went to the jumping board. A foot behind the jumping board, he drew a line, like a mark, and from there he took his run-up. Whatever his run-up was, from there he measured his run-up and proceeded to jump from there. And he had made up his mind that he is going to do this and follow the instruction or the advice by this particular sports person. I qualified with almost a foot to spare, and the third jump, the most important jump of his life, he jumped from behind the board as was told, and very easily 1 feet over the qualifying mark he jumped. Very easily he was qualified for the final that was to take place the next day. Now that night, I was mightily relieved, I is Jesse Owens, and very grateful also to Lewis Long. So that night I walked over to Lewis Long's room in the Olympic Village. As I said, all these Olympians are put up in a village. It's not a village, basically they are flats, fully furnished flats, where these sports persons are put up. They go for training, they stay there. As long as they are in the competitions, they are there. So it's known as a Olympic village. You get everything there, your medicals, your shops, your gyms, your swimming pool. It's just like a small town, only athletes live there. So anyway, on every country is given different blocks, and the athletes are staked there. That night, Owen was so grateful of the help given by Lewis Long that he found out where Lewis Long was putting up, and very quietly, when all his teammates were sleeping, he went to meet Lewis Long personally in his room. Olympic Village to thank him, and his heart was very grateful, and he went there specially to thank Lewis Long for helping him qualify for the next round. I knew that if it hadn't been for him, I probably wouldn't be jumping in the finals the following. And he was so grateful, and he knew it, he realized it, that if it wasn't for Lewis Long, he would never have qualified. That anger would still be in him. That anger, sorry for the disturbance. Anyway, so Jesse Owens knew in his heart that he had to be grateful to Lewis Long for him qualifying. I probably wouldn't be jumping in the final the following day. We sat in his quarters. Quarters is his flat, the room where he was putting up, and talked for 2 hours. Imagine, both of them sat down in a very, very calm, friendly atmosphere, and for the next 2 hours they spoke to each other. about track and field and the different methods of training, the different whatever diets they're taking, and many things all regarding to track and field, both being sports person. Track and field ourselves, the world situation. We also spoke about the tension that was prevailing in the world, Hitler's ideology, what is happening in America, what is happening in Europe, because at that time the world was very tense. We were in a period between the First World War and the Second World War. Second World War was approaching, tension was rising, Hitler was getting more dominant. So all these things they spoke about, even though they were only athletes. The world situation, a dozen other things, many other things other than both these particular topics. When I finally got up to leave, we both knew that a real friendship had been formed, and after 2 hours of talking to each other, when I got up to leave that day or that night, I realized that I have made a true friend, because I could make out, I could see from Louis Long's behavior, his actions, his way of talking, that he was not putting on an act. He was a genuine person. And there and then we struck a chord and we struck a friendship. Louis would go on to the field the next day trying to beat me if I could. And we realized that the next day was the finals, and Louis Long and I would both be out on the field, both be trying to outdo the other. I knew it in my heart I would be trying to beat him, even though I had made friends with him. He would be out to beat me also, and that is good. In sports, these type of competitions are good for each other, and we realize, as true sportsmen, now we realize that this is good competition. But I knew that he wanted me to do my best. But in my heart of heart, I knew the way he acted yesterday, the way he spoke yesterday, I knew in my heart that it was more Louis Long who's wanting me to win the medal. I was there to win. I knew it in my heart. I was desperately wanting to win. But he was wanting that I should win the gold medal. Okay. Even if that meant my winning. As it turned out, Louis broke his own pass record. The next day the finals happened. Louis Long, whatever was his personal best in the long jump, he outdid it. He broke his own record. In doing so, he pushed me on to a peak performance. And looking at his jumps, the way he's jumping, the distance he's jumping, it motivated me. It boosted me. And I also did my best. And I broke my own previous performance. That is the distance that I was jumping. I remember that at the instant I landed from my final jump, the one which set the Olympic, and the third jump of mine was the jump I set the Olympic record. And immediately when I jumped, I knew the distance was good. I knew it that I had broken a record, set the Olympic record of 26 feet. This is the record set by Jesse Owens in 1936. 26 feet, 5 by 5, 16 inches. He was at my, and as I broke the record, it's given on the board, my distance, and he also knew the Olympic record, what it stood at, and immediately he come, embraced me, congratulated me. He was so excited for me, okay, myself, congratulating me, despite the fact that Hitler glared at us from the stands. And see this one thing, that performance was being watched by Hitler himself. He had come specially to watch Louis Long defeat Jesse Owens. And a VIP seat he was sitting. And Louis Long knew the fact that Hitler, his commander-in-chief, is there watching him. He did not care. He went up, embraced Jesse Owens and congratulated him, which angered Hitler sitting there. At us from the stands, not 100 yards. I mean, he was not very far also. We could clearly see him also. Louis shook my hand hard, and it wasn't a peck. He shook my hand, and I knew there and then he was not shaking my hands for the sake of shaking. He was shaking it genuinely, with true love, and congratulating me. Smiled with a broken heart, even though he was disappointed that he could not defeat me, sportsman the sportsman. But that smile that was on his face showed it was a genuine smile, and he truly was happy for me breaking that Olympic record that year. So now that is the main story, and the last paragraph, if you see, is given in little darker. It's a thought by Jesse Owens, what he thinks of that gold medals. What he says: you can melt down all the gold medals and cups. Now in his life, Jesse Owens has umpteens of victories, and he has gone round the world winning gold medals. And what he says here: all the gold medals that he has ever won, you can go and melt them down. Gold can be melted, okay? You can melt down all the gold medals and cups I have, and they couldn't be a plating on the 24 karat friendship I felt for Louis Long at the moment. He said all those cups, all those medals of gold that he has won, go and melt them down. And after melting, after gold becoming a liquid, if it is covering the friendship that he has struck with Louis Long, he doubt that all the gold could be a covering for the friendship that he has developed with Louis Long. 24 karat is the most pure form of gold you can find. On the 24 karat friendship, he says this friendship was so pure, purer than 24 karat gold even. I said all the gold could not put a covering on that friendship of theirs. I felt for Louis Long at the moment. I realized then too that Louis was the epitome of what Pierre de Coubertin, founder of the modern Olympic game, and there and then he realized that the founder of the modern Olympics, he went by the name of Pierre de Coubertin. Pierre de Coubertin. He is supposed to be the founder of the modern Olympics. And he had said about sports person, what he said must have been in mind when he said the important, now this is his words. Whose words? Pierre de Coubertin's words. The important thing in the Olympic Games is not winning but taking part. And even today athletes have these words in mind while they are taking part in the Olympics. Every athlete, even from our own country, India, they go. Hardly anyone wins Olympics, gold, silver, especially in athletics. But they go there with this thing in mind. That is, the important thing in the Olympic game is not winning. It's not that you win, but the art of taking part. The essential thing in life is not conquering but fighting well. And he says this is why the most important thing is in life is not to conquer things but to fight well. So my dear friends, this was the autobiography of our great personality Jesse Owens. As we have done in the introduction also, we were told that after the Olympics, when the war broke out, Louis Long was sent. He had to take up the army job, 3 years compulsory they are there, and he was sent on a mission in which he was killed. Jesse Owens survived, grew to be an old man. His record was for years and years and years and years not broken, not even touched. But Louis Long, that epitome of friendship, he could not survive for long, and within a few years he perished in the Second World War. So we finish with this chapter. It is chapter 9. After finishing this chapter, after watching this video, the next time maybe I will give some extracts. So you can also take out your workbooks, sit down there, try to solve the extracts. Any problem, I am open, I am free for conversation. You can just consult me and we will discuss your problems. Goodbye. God bless.